The pod map will show you people nearby who share your interests. Go ahead and tap Map on the bottom navigation. The first thing you'll notice is what we call the activity feed. This shows all people within the map's view, ordered by closest to you. Go ahead and put 2 fingers on the map and begin to zoom in. Let's zoom into Texas. As we zoom in, the people within the activity feed begin to change since the people within the map's view begin to change. If you continue to zoom in, you'll begin to see individuals in and around the Dallas area here. When you discover someone who piques your interest, simply tap their icon on the pod map. This will bring up their pod profile, which you can drag upwards to make larger. We can tap groups and see if Tom and I have any groups in common. These are the pod groups which Tom has joined. We can also tap connections and see which connections Tom has made on pod. We can see Tom is getting a lot of profile views lately. I could even send Tom a connection request. If he accepts, we can message each other, we can share posts, and we can even share live location with one another. Our shared interests are highlighted in blue. If I scroll to the bottom of Tom's card, I can even share the card with someone who I think will find him interesting. Let's say you want to view the world through the lens of an interest. Maybe you're interested in real estate. You can type real estate into the top search bar and filter the entire map to only show people who share that interest. Now let's say we're on a road trip from San Francisco to Los Angeles. I can zoom into the map in Los Angeles and find and connect with local interesting people who also share that interest of real estate. Be sure to tap the X and clear the interest out if you want to go back to the map that includes everybody. Let's take a look at your profile. Make sure you tap Profile on the bottom navigation. On the profile page, you can see which groups you're in and your connections. Now let's tap Edit Profile. On the Edit Profile page, you can update your profile photo and basic information. But most importantly, you can add and remove interest tags so other pod users know what you're interested in. Let's save our changes and go back. At the bottom of your pod profile, you can see who's been viewing your profile. You can even share your profile with contacts, out on social media, and if anybody's nearby, they simply open their camera over this QR code and they'll be taken to your profile on pod. Whether you know them outside of pod, met them through the pod networking map, or through pod groups, the Pod Connections area gives you powerful tools to grow and maintain your relationships, both professional and personal. Go ahead and tap Connections on the bottom navigation. The first thing you'll notice is Pending Connections, which you can accept or decline. Below Pending Connections, you'll see all of your connections listed by most recent communication. If you have any unread messages, they'll be indicated by a number over the profile picture. If you want to send one of your connections a message or reply to a message they've sent you, simply tap the connection. The green dot indicates that you're sharing your live location with that connection, and the green circle indicates that they're sharing their live location with you. For new groundbreaking ways of real-life networking, turn on the Share Live Location toggle switch. For more information about sharing live location, you can consult the video that'll appear when you turn the switch on. To grow your connections, you can also tap the Add Connections button at the top right corner. Here you can add connections through your phone contacts. You can add connections through an invite link, which you can post to social media. And if you're nearby anybody, they can simply open their camera and hold it over this QR code, and they'll instantly become your connection. Pod's powerful grouping feature allows you to collaborate with other pod users over shared interest or common purpose. Go ahead and tap Groups on the bottom navigation. On the My Groups tab, you'll see all the groups that you belong to. Let's go ahead and tap one of those groups. Here you can see I can go into a chat. I can share the group outside of pod. I can see a list of members and connect with them. I can even map the group on the pod map, or share my live location for groundbreaking real-life networking opportunities. I can also leave the group. On the Discover Groups tab, you'll find thousands of groups of all types. You can join a group, and if you don't find what you're looking for, you can always create a group within just seconds. Groups can be private or they can be public. So you've explored the pod map and made some connections. You've joined some groups and met some people. Now what? Well, come over to the posts area at the bottom of the navigation, and you'll see both group and connection posts listed by most recent to oldest. You can even make some posts yourself. Go ahead and click the pencil icon. On the next page, you can choose whether this post will be seen by connections or one of the groups that you're in. I'll choose connections. Now you can compose your post and add pictures or hyperlinks and send it out to your connections or group if you chose a group. It's that simple. Now you may have been curious about this connections map. Let's go ahead and slide over to the connections map. The connections map shows you connections who are sharing their real-time precise location with you. Pod technology unlocking the door to groundbreaking real-life networking opportunities. Learn more about live location sharing in our tutorial on the connections area of the navigation bar. One more map trick I'd like to show you. Let's tap groups on the bottom navigation. Here we could see a business networking group I started. I'm going to go ahead and tap that. We could see it has 2,044 members all over the world. Now, what if I want to see those group members mapped out on the pod map? I simply choose Map Group. I now see people all over the world, and just like the regular pod map, I can zoom into individual towns and cities and see people. The difference is that everyone has joined my business networking group. It shouldn't take much imagination to see how Fortune 500 companies, universities, fan clubs, and sports teams can use the pod map to build real-world stickiness and real-life networking. Simply tap the X and clear the group out in order to go back to the regular pod map.